Welcome along to the latest instalment of our Netball Unlocked series of extended interviews. We talk to the names that shape the world of netball. And for our next guest, we've got someone who's got the Netball Super League in the palm of her hand this season. Quite literally, it's Nottingham Forest and South Africa superstar Rolene Streutker. Rolene, hello and welcome along.
Hello, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Spoiler alert for everyone here. We did try this earlier in the season, didn't we? But we had our one and only technical failing. So we've been desperate to get this back on track, and we're so grateful to you for coming on. And obviously at a massively important time in the season. How exciting to be involved in the race for the top four.
Very exciting. I just want to say I had so much fun the first time. I had to do it again. So scratched all the data you had.
No one will ever know what was discussed in that hour. But
it's confidential now. But yeah, no, it's been good. And it's exciting being in the run. I know it's not exactly the journey we had planned. Like relying on another team to get you there. It's not your best place to be in. But I mean, we're just focusing on what we can do, and that's all. It's all that we can do, you know.
And I suppose, sorry, Chloe, just very quickly, and just tying into that, because we've got loads of other stuff to talk about. I suppose in some ways, how great to maybe have a Thursday game this week that just allows you to put a little bit of pressure on, just makes the dynamic a little bit different.
It is true, yeah. It's not the best having a short week. I mean, we train like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like quite hard. But it is quite nice being the first one to play and then just watching to see what happens. I do know next weekend we are playing after them, so then we'll know if we are playing for something or playing to end, which is quite sad. So don't want someone. It's hard rooting for someone to lose, but like I'm just saying we're rooting for two other teams to win.
Okay, that's the best way to say it.
Yeah, lovely spin on that one. And I guess doing things twice, you guys just twice beat Loughborough Lightning. Rolene, tell us about that experience, getting it over on them again in a really similar way, but in a quite an outstanding way.
I have to say it's quite a fun game. I know. I just think it's the matchup of our players that just work very well. Because if you think about it, like Lightning won Thunder twice, but we won Lightning twice, but lost to Thunder twice. So like it's just such a interesting thing, and that's just the fun of netball, to be honest, because you can be a brilliant team, but if your dynamic of play just doesn't suit the other team, it might not go your way. So yeah, but I actually enjoy playing against Lightning. It's always a good matchup.
I don't know if they enjoy playing against you, if I'm going to be honest.
It's funny because Chloe and I were discussing this on sort of this week's pod, and we spoke about how it's quite odd in some ways in netball at every level, how matchups, doesn't matter where the teams sit in the league, there are just some teams that you can't get over, or you know that you've kind of got one over. The Forest Lightning games this year, I think, have been two of my favourite games in the Super League this year. So to hear you say how much you enjoyed playing in them, but how difficult to play in them as well, maybe this time round when we all know so much more about you and maybe teams are defending you a little bit differently as well.
Yeah, it is quite different. Like you can see from the first time, like going through the league, like because I am a new player to the league, so everyone's like figuring me out on the first one and the second one. They come in harder. But that's kind of the fun of it, to be honest. Yeah.
It's funny you use the word fun because it doesn't look fun from the out. I mean, you do it with a smile on your face, but it doesn't look like fun. But I guess, Rolene, tell us more broadly. I mean, this is your NSL debut year. How have you been enjoying the experience?
Really been enjoying myself. Like I don't know. Like I've always enjoyed netball. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm always with a smile on my face because I really just enjoy netball. But I've really our team is such a nice team to be in. I can't speak for any of the other teams, but like I've really just had comfort with the players that I've been introduced to, and just living environment and everything. Like everything's lovely, so I have nothing to complain about. Um, so no, I've transitioned well.
How have you? Because Forest obviously are a brand new team, like Panthers, new to this kind of 2.0 era of netball in the UK. So the Motor Point has been kind of a new a venue, like consistent venue for the Super League this year. So I think you kind of have embraced as a club that whole kind of, this is what we are. People think you're pretty cool because you've got nice gear and like good fashion drops and all those. That's not my words; they are the words of my
You
child.
spoiled.
Yes, yeah. They're the words of my daughter. But all that sort of stuff feels pretty cool and feels like what we want netball to be in this
Yeah.
country. So how exciting, I suppose, has the off the court been stuff as well?
Just as you said, it's quite cool. Because we are a new team, but we're not a new franchise, and it really shows in like just the whole organization of everything. Like even in the marketing and the media, like we have professional things, and like as you said, that's kind of where we're going as a netball. Seeing what the football has, and like that's kind of normal for them, and we're working with a lot of football with a lot of Forest people that work with the football, so like that's their standard for sport. So coming into the netball, that's the same standard they hold. So it's quite fun and exciting, and also playing at the Motor Point. We love playing at home, like we really do. We just have a great crowd, and it's just a fun arena. Like I've even played in the Motor Point when I played for Proteas, and even then I was like, oh, I really like this stadium. So having that be my home venue I love it. It's so nice.
Well, and they love you, Rolene, because when the super short period starts, I've been there and the song comes on. It's Jolene, but everyone's singing
Yay!
Rolene. Hey.
I love that. It's
Why?
such a cute thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's, building an identity, building a brand, and like getting
Yeah.
people to join in this experience, and then you to be there delivering it, week in, week out at the same place, which I think is such an advantage as well, to have a place that you call home, a fortress.
Yeah.
Like Paul's been calling it Fortress Most Point on this here podcast.
Oh,
But
that's a
but Rolene, one of the other new things to this league that's in this capacity is Chelsea as a coach. Tell us a little bit about how she's been. You've talked a little bit about her being fresh off the court and that being an advantage as a coach, but also as things have got a bit stickier and you're fighting for things, have you noticed her change, or tell us a bit about the environment that she fosters?
Well, first and foremost, like she's such a knowledgeable coach. Like she really knows what she's talking about. Like you said, she's fresh off the court, so like she knows what you are talking about when you say something, and like there's no way around it. Like she knows what you can do and what you should be doing, which I really like, and I really enjoy her coaching as well. And I also find it very easy to like. She'll give you instructions, and it's implementable. Like it's not just be better, do better. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this, this, and this. So I really enjoy her coaching, and also, what was the other question? Like you can actually see how she grows with each match and everything, and like I know that's kind of weird saying as a player to a coach, but like it's good seeing as well. Like she's growing with the sport and with her new role as well. Because I mean she is new, but she just took it on with both hands and like just went for it, and she's doing very well.
And how important to have built an identity as a team? We'll get into you and your game in a moment, but Forest to me certainly seemed like a team who play quick netball, which some teams have found a way to stop, other teams haven't found a way to stop. As we get to sort of this latter part of the season, and maybe some teams don't quite have that identity. How has sort of Chelsea and I suppose the leaders in the team built that kind of that netball identity, I suppose?
Yeah, I think it's something that just naturally happens. Like you see what's your strengths and what's your weaknesses, and Chelsea is very good at identifying those as well. So she knows that a quick play is when we are at our best. So trying to like, just telling you, okay, this is your strength if you haven't noticed, but like getting ways to implement it with different teams. Like you said, some teams pick it up and some teams don't, and like getting ways to get around it when they stop you initially, just to make sure that you get back on track with what's normal to you. Yeah, so no, quite good.
Okay, well, that's that done, but we need to get into the business bit, which is your shooting, Rolene.
10 minutes it took us. I think we've done well.
Yeah, we did really, really well. I'm just looking at it now. 128 super shots. I don't think yes, really. Yeah.
I haven't looked after the 100. I was like, oh, that's exciting.
Tell us a little bit about that range. Do you find it easily? Did you expect to make the impression that you have done? You know, we know that you've come from Australia where you've experienced that, and we'll get on to talk about your time in Australia. But my word, though, really, 128 super shots.
I love the super shot. Like, I know when it got introduced, it was like a bit controversial. Like, not everyone liked it. But I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Like, I just think it makes it a lot more enjoyable to watch as well. And that's kind of where we want to get the sport to be. Like, more viewers is more professional. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I actually just enjoy it, and I've always just caught the ball and shoot. So I felt that was easier than throwing the ball around. So yeah, I like it.
Because I was going to say, one of the first things we noticed, if we go all the way back to Super Cup as well, was your comfort in just shooting from distance anyway. Like, how has that come about? Is that just natural? Like, your job is a shooter, so I'm just going to put it in. Is it as simple as that?
That is kind of what it is. Like, I've just always like, well, how I started shooting was like through like just going on in shooter for like when they needed a different shooter. Like, I'd be like just helping out when the shooter's not shooting in. So like for me, it was just like getting the ball and shoot. That's kind of what you need to do. And like I think at that stage, like throwing the ball around extra was more risky than taking the shot. So that's just what I've always been doing. And yeah, just getting more confidence in that is just practice, to be honest. So yeah.
Can you give us a bit of an insight into the practice that you've done over the years? Like, as a skill, how long, how many reps, you know, because there's that, how many, was it 10,000 hours to master a habit or whatever it is? Like,
Yeah.
Give us a sense of just maybe how much work has gone into crafting your shot, the technique, and that ability to get it in as accurately as you do.
So I would say when I both my sisters was also shooters. They didn't play. The one played in university as well. The other one stopped after high school. But like, so I would say just shooting was like always the fun thing we did. And like I'd always be there for their games and shooting while they were playing and stuff like that. And then in university was when my coach was really like, okay, shooters does like an extra hour, maybe 2 hours a day, every single day. And it'll be different shooting like drills and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I did 500 shots a day for a while as well. So it's quite a different like accumulation of things. But because I used to be like just a confident shot to like never practiced. If I practiced, it'll be miss. Like after practice, it'll be miss. But then, like I said, well, we talked about this in the previous podcast, and I will say it again because I think you guys would have wanted that. But I did go through like a difficult time shooting, which I was like shooting 20% the whole year. Like it was quite bad. And at the moment, I didn't know like what caused it or like how to get out of it, and it was quite scary. Like that was kind of when I decided to like, this is really what I wanted to do, and I actually enjoy playing netball. So I was like, I'm not going to give up. And it's like very easy to just say, okay, done. Because like I wasn't in the Proteas then. I was like kept knocking and knocking on that door, but just nothing would open. So I was kind of getting to the end of my studies as well. So it was kind of like could have been an end of an era. and I just decided like I'm not done playing netball yet. So I literally taught myself to shoot from scratch. I went back to the post and just started completely. Okay, this is how I started from hand, feet, everything like because I got when that period was, I would literally like get under the post. I would feel completely fine, no stress at anything, and then shoot, and my arm would just like it would feel like numb, like I would miss the post completely. Now embarrassing it is to do an air ball. Oh, cringe. So yeah, after that, like that is where I would say my shooting stats actually improved afterwards, because I was just playing netball for fun, and I you can actually see my what do you call it, like shooting action changed from before and after, because it's quite different actually. Um, what do I say now? Completely lost my train of thought. But so it was actually in hindsight a good thing, because after that was I went to trials for President's 12 team for the Diamond Challenge, which is like the team just below the Proteas. And I actually went with like one suitcase, like one one outfit. I was like, I'm not getting picked for this trials. Like, I've just had the worst year ever. Only starting to get back onto that like normal shooting and whatever and enjoying it. I literally had on the Monday I had an exam, like my final year exam, last one. Um, and if the trials were like on Friday or something, and if you made it, you have to stay the whole week, the next week. But if you didn't, you go back on Sunday. So I was like, I'll be back for my test. Don't need to pack anything else. Needless to say, I got into that team, and I didn't know if I would pass or not. No one answered me because I mean it's exam on a Monday morning. I just skipped that all the way. I had to do another year, just so that you guys know. Dedication, I know. And then yeah, so I played Diamond Challenge, and it actually went really well. I was like shooting 90, hundreds, and really just enjoying netball, to be honest. And that was where Norma Plummer actually caught me. Like literally after that, she invited me and three others to like do training games in Australia. Like literally maybe 2 months later, and then from there on, that's where my Protea journey started, and I was like, great. So in hindsight, it was a good building year, and that's where I would say my shooting stats would improve. But to be honest, yeah, always been shooting. I just like it.
It's an incredible story to tell, an incredible journey that you've been on. Just to take you back a little bit, like to remodel your action, I think kind of maybe might sound a bit strange, but in truth probably isn't for like a netball shooter. We hear it in golf, we hear it in cricket, we hear it in all those kind of sports. So I'm kind of really interested in how you broke it down, because you mentioned your feet at one point, you mentioned your kind of wrists and your arms. Like, was it really just a case of just kind of going, right, I'm going to stand under the post and work out what works best for me?
Literally, yeah. Like, luckily my university coach, she's really good birds out of court. Like she's always been like, okay, this is the action we're gonna do, the Australian high release. Like she teaches all her um athletes that, all her shooters that. But obviously like when you just come in, like you always have your little tweaks to something, and just fine. But when I restarted, I was like, okay, gonna go perfect shot. We're gonna train exactly how it should be, like breaking it up and everything. Like, yeah, it's basically mechanics if you think about it.
Yeah.
So just starting small and working from there.
Rolene, like I suppose you talked about, it's almost like your body sort of betrayed you in that sense. Like, and I imagine like mentally that was probably quite tough as well. Like, how did you, bar the physical act of like rebuilding, but how did you keep yourself going? Like, what was it that kept you rooted in that endeavor to just keep going and going and going until you rebuilt it? Because like a lot of people might have walked away if it just sort of all fell apart and you felt like, well, now or never, and it's feeling more like never.
Yeah, exactly. Well, to be honest, it was my faith. I am a Christian and I solely believe that God got me out of that. But also, like, I'm lucky enough to have a great support system and just um, having a great family. Like, I was just speaking to my dad and like to my parents and stuff like all the time. And to be honest, my dad was like, "Oh, it's not even that bad. Like, I don't think it was that bad." And in hindsight, I'm like, I think it was that bad, but yeah. So I just had a great support system, and just he was actually talking to me and saying like, okay, well, it doesn't look like you want to, like you can, might as well just stop now. And I was like, how dare you say that to me? Like, I am trying. But that was such a like good and honest conversation I needed to have, because that's where I was like deciding, okay, clearly my lifestyle is not showing what I'm trying to achieve over here. So like I just made the decision I will become a protea and I will be the best netballer. I want to be like the best that I can be. And that's kind of where my mind shifted. And my mom always said like talent got me until that point. Like obviously I've trained hard and I like went through all the ranks and everything, but like I was kind of drifting on talent all the way. And after that, that was the first time I really needed to like put in the extra hours, like a lot of extra hours that no one sees, and like just truly grinding behind the scenes. So in it, that really just cemented my foundation, and like actually hard work beats talent every time. And I know we all say that, but when push comes to shove, like it's really true. So yeah.
So it helps as well. You mentioned a couple of times about just how much you love netball and how much you wanted to play netball. So how great to be able to kind of go away and represent Proteas, then head off to Australia on this wonderful training experience, then end up playing for Mavericks out there, then end up over here as well. Like this incredible journey. You're only 24 still, and it feels like you've gone through an awful lot already to kind of have
Yeah.
this kind of brilliant netball story.
Yeah, no, I like I said, like after Normark got me, and the end of that same year, I debuted for Proteas in the Australian series, and then directly after that, they had an England series where we played at the Manor Point. And I literally got like player of the match in my third cap, and I was like, this is a life. um, and then yeah, Mavericks picked me up after that, and it was such a great experience I had last year. I unfortunately got injured after the second game. I played the preseason games, and then I got injured after the second game, which was devastating. I got back at the end of the season, but then they already like cemented it with with Shimona, which is fair. She was doing great. So yeah, that kind of sucked. I know that's not politically correct to say that, but yeah, it really wasn't nice. But that's unfortunately sport. You can't control it, and but I'm still working to get back there. I know everyone's like, oh, I can't say that. Like you gotta England, you're playing in England now, and I am enjoying it over here. But playing for like to be the best, you got to play against the best as well in every day. And we can say that the Australian League is a bit of a step up from the England League, and going back to South African League is also a step up for the England League. So like, there's a lot of steps you got to take and to become the best. And like the Proteas, we are working to get into those medaling
We know you're coming.
positions.
We're scared. We're scared.
Yes, you better be scared. Yeah, so we are working quite hard. So our goals is to be in the Australia, New Zealand, or England leagues. Yeah.
I suppose in a way, Rolene, you talked about how like that sucked, and I think that's so. I appreciate that honesty, because actually, like you could sit there and go, it was a great experience, and like yeah, to get injured and to have had that opportunity and for that to happen, it is rough. And I was just thinking, are you happy in some ways that you got that little window, that look at this whole other netball world? Because sometimes I think we don't we can talk about it and we can watch it, and we can see it, but you don't know that step up until you feel it, right? So you kind of got
Exactly.
an insight, and then you'll come back here and you're like, okay, yeah, no, I know that is what I want. Is there a bit of gratitude for that, even despite everything?
Yes, 100%. Like I'm really grateful for that, and like why I was so like gutted getting injured because like I just started getting like not through, but like Tracy Neville was the coach of Mavericks, which is a wonderful coach and like really really good. And she was like, yeah, so she trained me, and like there were specific things that she wanted me to do, and like I just started getting those right, like just getting there, and then I got injured, and I was like, oh, gotta be kidding me. But yeah, so
I suppose it's that and to also to sit here and say I want to go back, I think that's also pretty, like, that is honest as well, like, to be there.
it was. I'm very grateful that that was my first experience overseas because that is some tough netball out there. Like coming from South Africa, only having a few international matches, that was quite an eye-opening thing. Like I knew it was going to be intense, but like it was amazing. Like the training sessions and just the intent of going 120% on each and every ball and just being solely intentionally at training and in games is something I'm very grateful I got to experience because that's all also like that's what I'm working towards. So that's what I'm going to bring here wherever I am now. And I really do think that's a good thing. I have no reference for what the England League used to be or what it is because I know it did change from last year. And a lot of people say it is more intense and more intentional. So for me, it's good to see, and there's still improvement to be done, but so far it's really looking good.
And like you have to start somewhere, right? Like you talk about your own career as a
Exactly.
player, and I think Chloe and I have covered netball for a really long time, and we can see small steps being made, but you kind of have to make them. So to go back to your obviously Mavericks, and that kind of didn't work out. It's brought you here to Forest, where we've had a fantastic sort of experience of seeing you here. How did that move come about? Was it just Forest? I don't know how much you can tell us here. Were there other irons in the
I also
fire?
don't
Did you
know.
consider? Were there other places you could have gone? Because clearly you've adapted to life in the Super League so well.
Well, to be fair, I don't know what I can and cannot talk about, but I can say like I really liked what Chelsea was saying. She really sold Forest to me, and like just the values that she wanted to implement, and just like basic things like respect and just honesty and stuff like that, and being on time, respecting each other's time. That's something she like just flat out said, and I was like, I 100% agree with that. Like my coach from university always she made me early. I used to be late in high school. After university, a half an hour early for everything, and just quite a few of those things. And she said she was like she's looking for good humans, which is a weird thing to say, but it's such an important thing. Like getting a great group of people, so that it's fun to come into training every day. I mean, this is a whole life, 24/7. Like, if you do not enjoy the people you are with, it's gonna be a long year. And I really want to applaud her for that because it is a great group of people, and not even just the players, the staff as well. Like, I cannot complain about anyone, and it shows.
It seems, Rolene, that you have like a really strong mindset is such a big part of your game. Just the way there you're talking about Chelsea actually not selling you netball, she's selling you a vision of a group, and you spoke also there about Mavericks and intention and that respect and training and things like that. Just how much of your game do you reckon that your mindset is in terms of like where you are now and where you want to go? Like how much emphasis do you put on it?
100%. I think being mentally strong is such an important thing in the sport world. Like if you are not mentally tough, you will not make it, or you'll just be floating around. So no, I've been grateful with like just growing up with my with with the parents I have, like great mental toughness, just rooted through like normal daily living and just the thought process behind, like, just for instance, my dad, like, he just has a different way of looking at the world, and every time I get home, I'm like, oh, he just gives perspective into everything, and such mental toughness. I think I learned quite a bit from him, because life's tough. Get over it, you know. Like, you can't do much about it. You can just like control yourself. And then also with university and going through so many different things, mental toughness is something that you should have, and I just can't go through life without like without that. I don't know how people do it.
And I suppose slightly related to that as well, you've spoken about your family and that great support network that you've got. I always think when we talk to athletes in any sport, like, it's sometimes hard to forget that some people leave their whole life behind, whether they're really young or kind of getting on in their career for a new challenge. So how have you been able to adapt to life away from home?
Yeah, it is quite difficult, and like, I am a home person. Like, I really like being at home. It's not like, oh, I couldn't wait to get out of there. um yeah, I studied like 4 or 5 hours away from my home, so I moved out about when I was 18, turning 19. So I think that kind of helped, because that initial year was tough. But after that, like, yeah, it's just it is what it is, and this is what I want to do. And unfortunately, it is away from home. If I could do what I do here back home, I would choose that. But I do think like the teams and the people make it a lot easier. Like, even in Australia, I had the best teammates and like coaches and everything. Like, everyone is genuinely nice and lovely, and that does make it a lot easier. But being away for 6 months of the year is not ideal. But yeah, like I said, it is what it is.
We should say, Paul, actually, we have a listener of the podcast that is a member of Rolene's family. Is this not
Oh, yeah.
true, Rolene? Your aunt, I believe, listens to our podcast just to hear about you, and now she gets to hear from you. How cool is that?
Yeah, she does. She actually came to visit me this week. She lives in Canada, and I saw her when I was 6. So I actually got to meet my aunt this week,
Wow.
which was really lovely. Oh, it's nice having a bit of family. Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, to see you in that game, put on that performance as well, she must have been quite amazed at what you did.
Yeah, she was literally like seeing it in person. That super shot is so much further than watching it on TV. Yeah, so no, that was lovely.
No, well, we just wanted to shout her out because, we love a loyal listener of the podcast, and yeah, it's just amazing that I love that effort as well to understand what
It's
you're
crazy.
doing.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of things she knows. She knows more about the netball than I do.
We're doing our job then, Paul, by the sounds of
Yes,
it.
we
You
are.
are your job.
The movement, we called it, Chloe.
Rolene, we need to talk about the Proteas. We kind of mentioned it a little bit that you guys are coming, but one of the things that we have to talk about with this league is like the impact that you guys are having, and you're a super shot master, but you're being quite well kept with El Murray at Thunder also putting up some super shots. How is it having so many teammates in this league, and having that maybe a little bit of healthy competition there with El Murray?
It's always healthy competition. No, it's really good actually. Like I said, we as Proteas are really gunning this year and the next, and like we have a plan set out, which I really enjoy from Coach Jenny. Like, she really sat us down and just said, okay, where do we want to be, and do we have the same goals? And if that is so, working the steps back, like if you want to win a World Cup, which might seem far-fetched right now, but working it back, that means you need a medal in the Commonwealth. That means you need to do this. That means you need to do this. So there's a goal and a plan in place, and having us all play in England and overseas is the goal, and that's working to improve our skills. And I mean, we are doing quite well in this league, I think. We have quite a few of us, yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have that professional league back home, and it is quite sad. But we are really growing as a country, and just like you guys are also growing. But it is such a privilege to be able to play over here, and I don't think everyone always knows that. Like getting paid over here is a privilege to get back home. We play for fun.
I think as well, like that speaks to a wider point about the netball world, right? I always say that sport is tremendously undervalued on a global scale, and just because Australia might be the top of the tree and New Zealand might be a little bit under it, and then England and then South Africa, like everyone's on their own journey, right? The continent of Africa and the Caribbean as well. These are all on these incredible journeys. So I think we feel, certainly Chloe and I have spoken about this, tremendously privileged that we do get a chance for people to come over to, or athletes to come over to our league and be able to play and grow. And we saw Mary Chollock head off to Australia after 5 brilliant years over here. Like that's just the nature of sport and kind of human growth. So how far along are you guys in your plan? Are you allowed to tell us this? You're working backwards from winning the World Cup. Where are you at the moment? We got Commonwealth Games next year, obviously.
Yes, Commonwealth Games next year. We got a few test series at the end of the year as well. But yeah, so like she said, it's just if you want to be the best, you got to play against the best. So we have, she said, we can either increase our world ranking and play everyone below us, or we can gun for the top ones and improve our styles. So yeah.
Who is you've come up against some pretty hardcore defenders, if I'm not mistaken, Rolene. Who's your greatest challenge
Yeah.
as a defender?
I find this difficult to answer because, like, sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't, or like there's certain things from a lot of defenders that are difficult. I mean, Carla Pretorius will always be such a great matchup. I mean, she's just amazing. I kind of found Jodie Ward a bit of difficult, which is I just thought like, yo, how does she get to this? But it was like, I'd think, oh, completely have that. Psych, don't have that one. But yeah, played against quite a few great athletes. Yeah, it's hard to name one.
They're both quite live defenders. Is that
Yeah,
maybe something that's that they have in common, that they kind of they're quite stealthy, aren't they? They hide in
yeah.
the back.
I think it's the sneaky defenders that caught me off guard. Like I'm used to the like solid, like contesting keepers or like goal defenses. I think it's when they're like airy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, what sort of challenge do you embrace the most? Do you embrace like the physicality or the kind of the movement side of the game? Because obviously shooting is shooting, right? But there's a whole lot more that goes on around it. What parts of the game do you really enjoy? Do you enjoy getting into a physical battle?
Some days more than others. I have to say, like that's something that I'm actually working on because, like, with the Proteas and South African play, I'm used to a lot more running, and like getting the ball outside the circle. But over here, like that's not our style of play or the style of play that we won. So like sometimes I go out and Chelsea's just like, let them bring the ball to you, and I'm like, okay, sorry. So it is just it's different styles, and it depends on like coaching and team dynamics as well.
I have quite readily called you on this podcast, Rolene, Netball AI, because for me, there's your there's the fact that you have a skill set that you absolutely show off, but there's, for me, the way you learn is each. If you have a bad game against one defender, you don't, the second time around. What kind of process do you go through? Is it like an AI? Are you feeding yourself information and learning again? Like, tell us a little bit about your own personal analysis, and do you do that? What does it look like?
So I'm gonna be honest. not the best with analysis. I've been trying to enjoy that
So
part of netball, but
You've just ruined Chloe's name
Yeah,
for
my
you now. She's
brand for
been
you.
building this brand for a couple of weeks now.
no, I don't do nothing. I do agree there is learning coming from some, and like especially when I felt that I was beaten by a defender, I will definitely go and see like what else I can do. But also, I think it's my brain keeps going on like what should I have done, or like why did that not work? And yeah, I think it's again a more mental thing afterwards as well. Just saying like that's not going to happen again. Like you beat me once, like shame on you. Beat me twice, shame on me. Yeah,
That's that mindset coming back in then.
yeah, and
Yeah.
luckily, like we have a great analyst like AB on our team here, and like everywhere I go, like I'm surrounded by great people and people that actually know what they're doing, you know. So they just make my job a lot easier.
I think that's one thing that's come through a lot in talking to you, Rolling, like this strength of mindset, whether it's to learn or whether it's to embrace a new challenge or to kind of go out and put up a shot, like in its simplest form. So, what are the challenges? What challenges are there for you? You mentioned Australia a couple of times. I suppose ultimately the ambition and the challenge would be to end up back out there at some point.
Yeah, that's my goal to get back in Australia and just you know train against the best and become better. Like you can only compare against yourself, but my goal is to be the best I can be and to be the best in the world. I know it might sound ambitious to some people, but give me a few years.
Yeah, that's fine. Nothing wrong with ambition.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Rolene, because I think the way you got picked up by Mavericks was quite unexpected circumstances, right? And I think there's quite a good story with that as well about quite how ready you had to be with your suitcase. Can you and I suppose like definitely tell us that because it's so great. But also I suppose when you go back to Australia, you'll have been a bit better prepared than you were in that
Yeah,
circumstance, right?
exactly. Yeah, no, I'll definitely be better prepared and like I've grown so much this year and having to practice that super shot as well. I think it'll definitely help in Australia again, obviously. But yeah, so I got picked up by Enigma with Megan, which I just need to give a shout out to because that woman is amazing. She literally said, "Okay, I'm signing you, but you need to pack your bag, like have a to-go bag ready, because when I call you, it's gonna be quick." And I was the one day I was literally at my sister's wedding, like dress fitting, and I looked at my phone and there was like 20 missed calls. I kid you not. And it was all from Megan, and she was like, "Pick up your phone," like also just so many messages. And she said like Tracy wants to speak with me and like have a call and everything, and I might be going in the next 2 weeks, which is crazy. But yeah, so that was my experience.
And you can't tell anyone, right? Like that's top secret.
Literally.
And you're
Yeah,
with your
that part
sister
I don't like. That's not fun.
doing this amazing thing for your sister, and you're sat there with like some unbelievable news on your phone that you can't talk
Yeah,
about.
and
Like
I'm like,
that's
I don't want to
insane.
ruin your day. Like, this is yours. Yeah.
Look, as we talk about sort of future goals and sort of start to bring it back to sort of your own ambition, like this year in terms of the Super League, like when you've spoken about how Chelsea set out this vision for you guys and as a brand new team and a brand new franchise, but part of this whole Forest setup to put yourselves in contention for meaningful games at this time of the year. That feels like a success to us on the outside, but for you guys on the inside, like was the ambition always more right from the start?
Good question, because it might look like a great ending to our season actually as a first year club, but no, I have to say our ambition was to win, and it might be well, it was quite ambitious at the start, like not knowing. And I have to say, like, we had a few games that at the beginning of the season that really showed that we were new. And it's kind of like kicking us back now, having those few losses that shouldn't have been a loss. But no, I have to say, like, we were gunning for the win from the start, and we are quite gutted we didn't win last weekend to secure our spot. Yeah, that one really hurts. I'm not gonna lie, because now we have to rely on other people, and not a fun place to be in.
2 home games though. That must be
True.
like a great way to try and finish for now, at least to be
Yeah.
able to have that kind of galvanizing force.
No, 100%. We are so like excited for the next 2 games, and we are ready. Like, we are ready for them.
It feels a bit too soon to ask you about the off season, because I'm not sure you're going to have too much of one with Proteas.
Yeah.
But Rolene, like, tell us a little bit about what you do to switch off, because do you have like a way of stepping back from the game, from netball, from all of this intensity?
Well, this year we're actually going on a family vacation for the first time in a while, all of us together. Literally, like, me and my 2 sisters and both of their husbands, and single Pringle over here. But and our parents, we're going to the beach we used to go to when we were little. So it's going to be quite nostalgic. But usually you're just when I go home, it'll be my vacation because I don't live there. So like, I am away from what I used to do. Yeah, so going home is my vacation and my relaxed time.
Yeah, how do you switch off over here then, Rolene? Have you found anything in the UK to keep you occupied away from netball, or are you very much netball?
I like sightseeing. So like, whenever we have an away game, I try and stay with one of the South Africans or like someone I know, and just see a bit of England, to be honest.
Green. The glorious green of England. It's a little bit different from South Africa,
It's
hey, but
beautiful. Yeah. It's like always green because it rains so much.
It really does. Yeah, it really does.
To be fair, I am told I brought the sunshine this year, and I am God's favorite, you know? Because I saw that you guys had more sunshine days in your spring this year than you had in your summer last year. So,
and that's because of you. Is
so
that
you're welcome.
So you're not only bringing super sharp amazingness, you're bringing sunshine goodness to the UK.
No,
You can't
joke.
go
I
anywhere.
can't claim the sun.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere. Surely this
Yeah,
is
I'm
now.
not sure.
You're here for good.
Yeah, we shouldn't let her go to Australia unless.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, look, I think we loved doing it the first time, and we've made a bit of a joke about it, but we are genuinely really so pleased that you kind of made yourself available to come back and do it again. It's been an incredible season. There's still a few games to go, and we'll wish you all the very best for it. We'll sort of wish you the best for the international season, but I think we'll have to put our friendship aside when it comes to the international. Not me and Chloe. We're very much, netball for us, right, Chloe?
Yeah, sure.
We'll leave it there before we ruin what's been
I was about to
great,
say, let's cut it off now.
a great hour. But good luck, Rolene, and thank you again for joining us.
Well, thank you so much.